Hey everybody, I'm John Paduchak, and we're here today with episode 2 of Learn, Turn, and Earn. I'm your host, John Paduchak, like I said, with Ted Wasco, and our special guest today, Justin Popovich. How you guys doing?
Doing well, no complaints, man, no complaints.
Excellent,
I'm
excellent.
good.
Fantastic. So we got Justin here today because we want to talk a little bit about PLR. You know, the whole topic behind our show is learning something new, being able to turn it around and earn from it. And we couldn't think of any better way to start out, Justin, by not kind of bringing PLR into the picture early, because a great way to get started in creating things and having some different things created for you. So hopefully you can give us some insight into how we can make the best use of that, and tell us a little bit about what you do, because you have best quality PLR.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I guess for anybody watching that is just hearing the word PLR for the first time, or maybe you've heard it, don't know a lot about it, I'll start there, and then we can dive in. Whatever questions you guys have, we can chat, whatever. But PLR stands for Private Label Rights, and it's kind of the term has a bit of a bad rap, if I'm going to be honest with you, in the online business or online marketing world, so to speak. Just because traditionally, I'm talking maybe going back 10 years ago, a lot of quote-unquote PLR was hitting the market, but it was really just sort of pre-written articles that people would quickly buy, for $5 and post on a blog, so the content was done for them. So if you had a niche blog on knitting and sewing, you could go buy some PLR articles from somebody who wrote them on that topic. It saves you the hassle of writing the blog post. But as we all know, this day and age, content is king, and you can't just outsource cheap articles and hope that that's going to get you a bunch of buyers. You have to have good stuff, good quality content. So PLR, private label rights, has really evolved, and now there's a huge business model, almost like a mini industry around it. I don't want to say it's an industry, it's not, but there are a lot of companies like mine that produce what I'm going to call licensed content. So if you go to a grocery store, buy a tub of ice cream, you look at that beautiful label on the ice cream, the company that's marketing or selling that to you very likely didn't actually make the ice cream. It was produced and filled into that bucket somewhere else by another company, and they just purchased a license to then brand it, or stamp their little sticker on the outside of it, mark it up, and sell it to you for a profit. So a lot of people are now doing that in the digital world, but they're doing it in very positive ways. So as an example, John and Ted, what a lot of our customers will do is they already have an existing business. So a good example of a customer for us would be a speaker or a coach or even a consultant who already has an existing client base, and let's say they teach them things like Facebook marketing or how to get up and running on Twitter or Google Hangouts or something like that, and they want to just bring their customers up to speed on what is Facebook or what is a Google Hangout, and they don't want to have to write a whole intro book or ebook or video course. They can come to a PLR vendor like myself or some of my partners who have already produced a very in-depth course on that exact topic. We sell it to our customers with no branding, with no author name, and full editable materials. So you'd get like a Word doc, you'd get the PowerPoints that were used to make the videos. You can purchase a license from us to then rebrand this content as your own. You can sell it. In some cases, if the vendor allows you, you can give it away to build your list and to build credibility. But what it really is, it's a smart business owner's way of leveraging their time. They don't necessarily, you guys are Google Hangout experts, you don't necessarily have to write every single piece of content that you use to brand yourself and to let the world know that this is what you do. You could come to our store, buy some stuff, and just make sure that it's congruent with your message, maybe change 20 or 30% of it or less, and then package that as marketing material for your business. So that's sort of kind of an evolutionary history of what PLR is all about. That's how we create our PLR. It's intended to be used by existing business owners to help them leverage their time, make more money, and give them some content to really help their audience without having to do all the work.
Excellent. That's a great overview, Justin. And I constantly say to Ted all the time that not all PLR is created equal either, because we constantly joke about the Google Hangouts PLR that we know is out there that's been out and never been updated. I think it came out like over a year ago, and we were just talking about all the stuff that's changed, right? So not all PLR is obviously created equal. Justin is one of our favorites to go to for different things. But you're absolutely right. I mean, it's a great way to go and get materials that you can utilize quickly if you want to do a webinar or whatever it might be. So let's talk a little bit about how we might use some of those materials to kind of take something that we've now learned about, turn it around, and use it to earn.
Okay. So again, I'm going to basically assume that anybody watching this already has a business, and a lot of people don't. So they need to figure out what is it you do in your business. Because the last thing I want people walking away from here is thinking, okay, I got to figure out a way to make money online, which is not the right question to be asking. The question to be asking is, what business am I in, and how do I monetize either myself as a product vendor or a service vendor or both? So what's your business? What do you do? How do you deliver value to your audience? And who is your audience? If you know all the answers to that, then PLR will be useful to you. So let me give you, rather than making it theoretical, let me give you an example of a product launch that actually just closed like a couple hours before we started this call here. We had a product launch called 100 Tips for Speakers, Trainers, and Presenters. It was basically a large content bundle of material that basically, literally, as the name suggests, it's 100 different tips that you need to know. If you're a regular public speaker, or you're just getting into public speaking, or if you're a business owner who uses speaking as a way of branching out and letting more people know about what you do, here's a bunch of tips that you should keep top of mind so you do a good job when you're speaking. What we did with this product was we created an ebook that was basically one tip per page, sort of like a reference guide, right? You open it up, you flip through, you look for a couple tips, and move on with your day. This content package started with an ebook, but then we also had an audiobook. So all of those tips were narrated into an audio sequence. All those tips were formatted into a video series. We had them in a 10-part PowerPoint slide deck as well, if you happen to be a trainer. As a PLR buyer, let's say that you're a consultant or you're a coach, and you're let's say a business coach, and you have clients who want to learn how to speak more proficiently, want to use it as a tool in their business. Here, you could take this content package from us and repack it as a product that you sell to them, right? You could just sell the ebook component for cheap price. Let's say you sell it for $10. Grab this ebook I created. It'll help you with your talks. It'll give you a bunch of tips that you want to keep top of mind. Then once they buy that from you for the $10, you could then offer, well, I've also got this in audiobook and video format. If you're on the road, or if you need if you want to learn this stuff in a different way, here's an upgrade for you. For 20 extra bucks, here are audio and video versions of the same information. So that's an example of somebody taking a PLR package that's been produced in a variety of formats and making it meet their audience's needs. So let's say like one of my clients is an expert on, or helps writers, people who write for a living, like let's say freelance writers. they help them deal with things like self-doubt. Am I worthy as a writer? How do I find clients? How do I keep my pipeline full so I don't run out of money because nobody else is paying me, just my writing clients are paying me? So somebody who mentors a group like that is giving them tips and advice all of the time. Something like getting out to your local chamber of commerce and doing a talk is a great way of letting people know you're a writer. Maybe out of your comfort zone, but you should do it if you want to increase your business. So that coach could literally create a product, low-end product, but to help that existing audience and make money with it. How much work would that take? We've already done all the work for you. You've got 100 tips. Probably what you need to do is edit the ebook so it's got your company branding on it. Maybe it's got an intro paragraph from you saying how to use this, why to use this, when to use this. Maybe some kind of closing statements at the end of the ebook with some promotional links to some of your other programs, and that becomes a sales funnel. Here's some tips. Here's an audio course. Maybe on the back end of that, if you like all of this, fill in this application for some one-on-one coaching or mentoring. It could be a great little utility that you can use to sell product. The other end of the spectrum would be take all that content, and in this case, we allowed our customers to publish it anywhere they want. So that could, instead of being sellable material, publish it to Facebook. Start spreading the word that you are an authority on public speaking, or it's one of the things that you specialize in. Another option would be an autoresponder. 100 tips for 100 days. Send your list 100 tips over the course of 100 days. Great way of staying in touch with them. And it's just one little paragraph. Quick tip for the day. And then at the bottom, you're not just selling them something. You're giving them some value. And then the bottom is maybe a pitch for something every other day. So here, these are just I'm just kind of rhyming off what you could be doing with PLR. If you want, as we go along with this call, I can give you some specific examples of how people used other PLR, not this exact product, to make money in all kinds of different ways.
No, that's a great thing. You know, we use it a lot in you know, to craft emails more quickly, for bonuses. A lot of times we'll have a product or see a product that's up, but we don't have a ready-made bonus. We could do some video and utilize PLR for that. We've used it for content of different types. So I mean,
Yeah.
we use PLR a lot, but we also produce our own stuff.
I was going to say
So
we use it bar in our own product, because I
right.
did notice comment from Justin saying we could use it in our product, but John will tell you he'll give me PLR stuff and I just go yeah. He said it'll be useful, and what happens to it? It collects dust on my computer, because I'm a great believer in actually, especially in our product and our course, is actually going through it stage by stage and getting it right, and especially with us, because we've picked a topic that can change within hours of doing something, that we like to stay on topic on there. And I just found out they made some changes in G Plus as well as YouTube and what have you, and it just goes on and on. But yeah, what you've just said there is ideal. I mean, so especially where you give them a blank PLR, if I can get my teeth around it, to be able to put their own stuff. But I know what will happen. They'll take your product and they still put it out as is. They won't add extra or some images and that. And oh, the times it happens that they'll just stick it out, and I've even seen where it says, put your own testimonial, and that's what you see. You know, I don't know if that's people don't understand that they've got to do a little bit to it, or they're lazy. I've no idea. You tell me, Justin.
There is a lot of
Yeah.
value add to things that you've got to add. So
Yeah, I mean, if you see that happening, then to me that's carelessness. I mean, as soon as you publish something live on your website, especially if it's a sales page or even a piece of content like a blog post, that's selling the world on what you do and your value, and it's marketing you. So if you didn't take the time to proofread it before you click the publish button, it's going to reflect pretty negatively. Or, you know, correct it if a business partner or if a client catches the problem. I'm not saying we're perfect. We make spelling mistakes on sales letters all the time, but we correct it. We're constantly like looking where, you know, how can we get our marketing message tighter, cleaner, better. Back to your point, Ted, though, I totally agree. Like what you guys are doing is so specialized and timely. It's not evergreen at all, because it's always changing. There's no form of PLR that's going to be evergreen for Google Plus or Hangouts or anything like that. You guys are the go-to experts. Like even before this call, like last week I was trying to do some webinars. First person that came to mind was John, because I know him, and it's like, hey man, help me out here. So you guys are doing a great job branding yourself as the experts on this, and I wouldn't even suggest using PLR from a how-to perspective. But what about things like you get a bunch of clients who go through your course and they know how to click around and do a Hangout, but then they're incredibly boring or they're not prepared. They need tips on how to bring a bit of marketing flair to their Hangouts, so it's not boring to watch and people don't want to shut it off.
Mm-hmm.
That, like the 100-tip speaker thing, you could pull. There's probably 15, 20 tips out of that series of 100 that are about engagement and entertainment. That 20 tips could be a report. So you don't use the whole 100 tips as the ebook. You use the 20 tips as a new ebook, as a lead gen, right? Sign up for a quick, 20 tips to make sure your Hangouts are entertaining, and then the rest of it is your stuff that you're selling. These are, you're always looking for ways to expand what you already do. That's why my very first point on this call was, what's your business? Who do you serve? What kind of products and services do you sell? Now, let's make PLR fit what you already do.
absolutely. You know, another thing that I love that you guys do a great job of is just putting together all the different pieces and parts, because I tend to get a little lazy in some areas, a little lax. I mean, I'd like to not have to recreate the wheel and create a whole brand new slide presentation or a complete graphic. And if you put together some of the research that I can utilize and just change the content blend, like take what you've written and record it, make a video out of it, use it for the subject for content for what we're talking about, it makes my job a lot easier. So just in that alone, it's a big time saver. And there's a lot of stuff that we can repurpose well that way, and we use it quite frequently.
Exactly. In some cases, you get as much benefit or more benefit from the time savings as you do from the monetization of PLR. Especially for guys like you. You guys already have a business here and an audience and a platform, so you don't necessarily need our PLR, but it could save you a lot of time, because otherwise maybe you're outsourcing a designer to do a brand new infographic for you, or to do a short report. Well, why spend all that money if you don't need to? If you found some good PLR that can do 80% of that for you, you are going to save time and you'll save money. A really good example of the whole idea of knowing your business and then plugging PLR after the fact is one of my programs, Prod Create, which is how we met, John, where I teach people the fundamentals of building and selling digital products based on your skills and expertise. So whether you're an expert on, I think I saw you post something on Facebook earlier about somebody who does awesome gift wrapping. Now it's a digital product, right? That's brilliant, right? Why take a skill of something you're good at, turn it into a video course or turn it into some kind of tutorial and sell it. Market that skill. So this is a course where I teach people how to actually do that. Take it out of your head, put it into a digital format so you can make some money. In that course, I got to walk people through doing your skills map. What are you good at? How are you going to turn this into a product? How are you going to create a sales page for it? How are you going to do the buy button? Get affiliates to help you promote it, on and on and on. One of the steps is I have to teach people how to write sales copy. Write your sales page so that people know what they're buying and they're compelled to want to click the buy button. I'm not a copywriter. I'm not an expert at copywriting. I write my own copy because it's my product, and if I just tell the truth, it sells. But I'm not good at teaching people how to do that. So what I did in this course, it's a 4-week course. There's a ton of content in it. For the section on my course where I teach people how to write a sales letter, I bought PLR rights to a course or an ebook where there was a 13-step template. Here's how you do your headline. Here's how you do your subheadline. Here's how you do the body. Blah 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 blah. And in the course, I say follow this 13-step template. I didn't write it. I bought PLR rights to it. I just told the truth, and everybody's like, cool. They're happy with it because they know they're getting a template that's based on a proven model. In fact, it increased the value, the perceived value of my course, because my students saw that I was willing to go invest money to then give them content that I couldn't create myself, versus me trying to make something up that wasn't as good.
That's one thing with Hangouts and everything, where you're saying about telling the truth. That is, we've found it's starting to separate the true people out from the ones that just want to make a fast buck, and that because they won't put their face on camera. And like you said about telling the truth, with your writing your sales letter, you know the product, and what comes out in that sales letter is your passion over your product. And people can see that, same as when we're talking about our product. They can see that we're passionate about it, or even if we're actually promoting somebody else's product, if we think it's good, we actually tell them that. And on the other hand, if we find something not quite right, we also disclose that as well. Don't we, John?
Yes, we do. But and that kind of fits in nicely because, again, video I think is a great outlet, especially for PLR, because it gives you that kind of added piece of people being able to more quickly know, like, and trust you, which is one of the things that we just love about the whole Hangouts atmosphere, because people really get to know you quickly through video. I've seen a number of times where I've said this to Ted, the video part can really be a deal breaker in some cases.
It is a lot. It's out of people's comfort zones or whatever, you name it. But I can tell you firsthand, video has helped me make way more money in my business because people actually feel like they know me. And then, they can also look on my sales page and see my cell phone number before they buy and call me. I had a lady call me on Saturday, middle of the day. I was with my kids, and she was about to buy. And at first, she didn't even talk. She was just shocked that the person on the sales page on the video is answering the phone and answering her questions before she buys. So as soon as I got off that call, she bought some upsells. She was a happy customer. But I had already established credibility because I was on camera, on video, before she even knew what my offer was about. I had the wherewithal and the desire to get on camera and share, like Ted was saying, my passion about what we're offering here, but also explaining what the product could do for people, so that it would also weed out people that this product wasn't for. Because just as much as I want to make sales, I want people who don't need this product to not buy it. because that can be just as painful, right? And you get a better lifetime customer value when you actually, like Ted was saying, if the product isn't for them or if there's flaws, expose those flaws. If it's a product you're recommending from an affiliate, expose the flaw, but maybe it's still valuable. Maybe it's got a bug or two, doesn't do everything you need, but 80% of its functionality is still worth the $17 or the $27 you're spending. So I still recommend it. Just know that these couple of things don't fit. All of that ties back together with this whole concept of doing video, putting yourself out there, and when it comes to using PLR, using it in a way that enhances what you already do. Don't buy my 100 tips speaker product if you've never done speaking before and you have no interest in it just because it's a done-for-you product. How are you going to get passionate about that? You're not.
No, not at all. And in fact, when I first heard you say about your launch the other day, and you had your phone number, and you had people calling you, and I mean, how many people miss out on that? I just want to say I really love that because we do kind of the same thing. We've got little things to connect us in a Hangout and our number out there, and it makes a huge difference. At the end of the day, we want to sell more product. We want people to know who we are better, and we want to be a great support mechanism to them, whether they're buying, they've bought already, whatever part of the process they're in. So I thought that was great that you did that.
I was going to say one of our communities was for a product that we truly believe it. Well, it's Webinar Jam. It's got its faults. We help with the development of it. We have ever since it's started. And when we find, I won't say faults, but things that don't quite work right, we actually pass that on to Hector usually, who's the main person we talk to. But we've spoken to Mike Vilsain and that. We've also had him on a Hangout. But, it's the concept of actually, describing to people what they're going to get. Don't build it up if that's not what they're going to get, because, like you said, you're better off having a happy customer who's they're going to sell you more products in the end anyhow, because they'll recommend you. If you sell it to anybody, the ones that, oh, that's no good because they're not interested in it, because they haven't got the passion, like you said, on there, is that there's negative feedback. But if you keep getting the ones that really like your product, because you'll describe to them what they're going to get, what they're not going to get, what it's like, and everything else, they're worth so much more to you in the future, and by passing your good name on.
Absolutely. And just kind of on that note, and with a little bit of a PLR segue here as well, if you keep really customer value, or delivering your best, putting your best foot forward, doing your best for your customers, one way PLR can really help, that's not your traditional like buy the PLR and slap it up on a sales page, which I never recommend anyway, is a concept I use that I've been using it for over a year now, called creating a customer freebie portal. I have this private blog. It's not locked down or anything like that, but you can't really find it link. It's on a subdomain. But what I do is every so often, in the beginning I was doing it weekly, now it's more like monthly, I would create a new blog post with some kind of free download, whether it was an old product that I used to sell or that still sells, and now you can bypass the payment and just get it free, or just anything that you want to give away for free. When I have a new customer go through and buy something from me, the very first thing on the download page is me thanking them for the purchase and sending them over to this freebie portal. And I get tons of emails, I get comments, I get direct Skypes from people saying this is really awesome value add. I never would have expected this. The kind of feedback you get when you want to keep doing something. So I kept doing it, but how long does that take? You set up a WordPress blog, you put up a couple of posts saying here's some free downloads that enhance your experience with what I do for you, and you can load that up with PLR, right? Just customize and tweak a PLR ebook or course that you bought for $15-20. Take a little bit of time to put that together, but now you've got this whole a bonus freebie experience for your customers. I don't really see a lot of people doing that. Most of my freebie portal is content I've created from scratch. But even if you don't have the time to do that, content creation comes easy to us. But if it's not, then go get PLR. It takes you, even if you don't know what you're doing, probably setting up WordPress and getting that up and running, you can do it in an hour. But wow, what a great way to kind of stack the value for clients, asking no additional money. Just like, you spent some money on me, here's your product. Oh, by the way, here's a whole bunch of other free stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think you're one of maybe three people I've seen do that. All are pretty much PLR type creator
Mm,
folks too, which is kind of interesting. But
yeah.
yeah, it's a great idea. I mean, what better way for people to kind of connect with you than over something that you've given them that they can absorb right away.
Yeah, like even today, I promoted my launch was closing down, so I wanted to send a broadcast, sort of last chance to grab this, but I didn't want to make every broadcast I sent out just a sales pitch. So I did the reminder, but then at the bottom I said, stay tuned later this week. I've got more freebie content being added to my customer portal. Stay tuned. Right, so they know that I'm not just pitching them. I've got some other stuff I'm working on, and which is the truth. I've got a bunch of stuff that I've already hired out and cost me money to develop, and I know they're looking forward to it. So it creates a bit of give and take, right? When sell you something or offer you something, you don't have to take it, but also I've got some free stuff coming too, and I appreciate you allowing me to share my sales messages with you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was just going to say, I hope we've done our part uh, of teaching, so you've learned something. But apart from you learning something, we want you to turn that information that you've learned into money so that you can earn. And that's what our tag is: learn, turn, and earn. So as long as we've done that, we've delivered on our part. Now we want you to deliver on your part.
And now the very last thing that I want to mention, I want to kind of get Justin's piece on it, and then we'll kind of wind it off with final comments here. But one of the other things that I think is really key for people looking at PLR is that I like having something that's readily observable. Something that's got an infographic and maybe has a report attached to it, because we don't have a lot of time to like look at stuff. We're busy. Everybody's busy these days, and I love that you guys do that. Lots of other people do that. But what do you think on that concept? What thoughts do you have around it?
Just in terms of having graphical components added to your information products.
Yeah, but maybe even the fact that people are busy. We try to give them something they can consume readily that maybe leads them into the next step of reading the report.
Yeah. No, I think it's important. The first thing that came to mind as you were saying that is I recently joined this program. I'm not going to tell you the name or what it was about. It was basically an educational thing on list building from somebody I'd never heard before, but came highly recommended. And it was delivered over 5 weeks, sort of webinar style. But then I didn't have time, so I got to the end of it, and then I went through and I was like, okay, I need to get this material. I've got to learn this. I've been putting off these webinars. So I logged in and I realized that the only way to consume all the content was by watching the replay of his webinar, which is fine. But what I would have preferred was also some notes or quick takeaways from each of the weeks, so I could actually quickly read and say, do I need to watch all of this, or maybe I can skip to the second week or whatever. So I think just in general, always keeping in mind that you said people are very busy and that you want them to consume your content, but at the same time, they don't necessarily have time to consume all of it. So taking different learning styles into consideration, even though it's a Google Hangout product, like for you guys, having summaries of what each episode covers. That'll tell me if I want to invest my half an hour, or maybe I want to skip to episode 3, or maybe I want to pay you for your time. I'll pay you whatever you charge for an hour to teach me that because I don't have time to watch this and I need it done. I think that to me is the general thing, is just remember everybody's got different learning styles, and like John said, they're in a rush. So if you can make it adapt to that, then I think you're good.
Yeah, because I think that's definitely a big piece that I see, especially these days. You sign up for something that's a freebie or whatever, and you end up with this giant report, and it just ends up sitting in your hard drive and never getting consumed. So something smaller that leads into you wanting to learn more about the bigger report, or a smaller couple-page report that leads into the bigger piece to follow, or like you said, the summaries of the videos or summaries of audios that you're going to listen to.
Or the other thing is to make sure that they can, it doesn't matter if they want to read it, look at it, or listen to it, that they've got that option, so it doesn't matter wherever they are, what they're doing, they have got the chance of doing it. If they're driving to work, they'll at least be able to listen to it, and then if they found it interesting, they can then watch a video at a later date because they know what to expect.
Yep.
So we're kind of like at the end of the time period here, but I'm going to let you guys, any I kind of got in my final thoughts. So any final thoughts that you'd like the viewers and listeners out there to hear about PLR that maybe we didn't hit on yet, or something you took away from our discussion today that's of major importance to you?
Yeah, definitely. I think PLR is one of the areas where you can get a huge return on both your time and money investment if you know where to find the good stuff and you actually listen to conversations like the one we had today. Because, again, most people don't talk about what we've talked about today. If you go to bestqualityplr.com, one of the links on our website is training. And there's a whole section of free training that we have that some of it's part of our members area, but others wide open. And you'll see there's a freebie section. If you go through the top 10 in there, I've literally covered everything you could possibly need to know about taking PLR. And seriously, in some cases, I have clients that have spent like $20 and turned that into thousands of dollars in their existing funnels. So it's going to walk you through a lot of how this stuff is set up. Right through, in one of my videos, I literally tell you, here's a zip file that I sold you as a PLR customer. When you unzip it, what do you do next? And I go through the whole thing. Just watching that one training video alone will probably give you all kinds of insights and ideas. Go and find that. If you have any problems finding it, we have a contact page. I'll be more than happy to help you out.
Ted, final thought?
Final thought is that how Justin has explained and everything else, unlike other people, he goes the extra mile to make sure people know how to use his product, what to do with it, and the support, which is the main thing, because most people, they're not bothered about support. You know, sell the product, move on, let's do another one. So you can see Justin passionate about what he does, and it's not all about earning money. Yes, we have all got to earn money to live, but the more people that you help, the more you'll get in return every time, and he goes over and past what he should do. So yeah, well done.
Excellent.
Thanks.
So hey, on that note, I'm going to wind things up here, and you know, Ted and Justin, thank you for joining us. Guys, we'd like to thank you for sitting in with us on this episode, and we're going to include a resource to PLR along with this episode, which has a listing of some of the people that we'd like to do business with. So we're going to give you that, and you know, feel free to get in touch. And on that note, thanks for joining us, everybody.
Bye now.